Okay, I have been working on this one for a long time. Finding the right balance has been very difficult to strike in this Flare of Duplication deck. I've tried Unlucky Witness, Lightning Bolt, tried to be copying just Shrapnel Blast, just Goblin Grenade, and I think I finally found a good balance for this list. So the big idea here is we're using Flare of Duplication, which can sacrifice a non-token red creature. In this deck, you have Voldaren Epicure, Goblin Guide, and Goblin Bushwhacker. You can sack one of these cards to copy a Shrapnel Blast, so that's 10 damage for 2 mana. A Goblin Grenade, which is 10 damage for 1 mana. Or you can copy a Gleeful Demolition or a Kuldotha Rebirth. I will say it's a lot better to copy Rebirth than Demolition most of the time. Although sometimes you can Demolition target your opponent's stuff, but Rebirth. So with Rebirth you can copy it and you don't have to sacrifice a second artifact. With Demolition, if you want to get 2 things, you have to target 2 artifacts. And then we're playing Experimental Synthesizer, Epicure, Chromatic Star, and Mishra's Bauble to have a lot of artifacts to sacrifice to our Shrapnel Blasts, Rebirths, and Demolitions. And then we have the Goblin tokens off of Gleeful Demolition and Kuldotha Rebirth, as well as Goblin Bushwhacker and Goblin Guide to sacrifice to our Goblin Grenades. So far in my experience, I like Mishra's Bauble as like that extra 0 mana artifact over Ornithopter. Sometimes if I have like really good draws, I'll have wished that these were Ornithopters so that I could get an extra bit of damage with exactly Goblin Bushwhacker. But for the most part, I'm a bit happier being able to cycle this and smooth out some draws. It's better top deck to top deck a Mishra's Bauble than an Ornithopter. And not only do you get to play Flare of Duplication in the shell, but Image 3 also gave this archetype some pretty good utility lands, Barbarian Ring, but also Sundering Eruption has just been like really good. 3 mana, destroy target land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. But really what you want us to have here is creatures without flying can't block this turn. So this is kind of combination Tron hate main deck, but the big thing is, oh, your creatures can't block, you're dead. Is the big thing there. But this deck has been very fast. Copying a Goblin Grenade or a Shrapnel Blast for just 10 damage super fast, super early is a lot of damage, and you can end games very quick. Okay, on the play for match number 1. Hello, YouTube. This is our actual first match. We're going to click submit here. I'm going to play an Epicure, and then we're going to get some stuff rebirthed. Might rebirth and Grenade next turn. We'll see. I mean, would y'all Flare next turn? It's kind of interesting. Do we copy the Rebirth or do we copy the Goblin Grenade? Or am I changing my name to Actual Spike? If I ever win a Pro Tour. Do we drop from the league? Yeah, so I didn't have the Sundering Eruptions yesterday. I added them this morning, and I must have joined the league without them. So, I don't want to play the whole league without them. I think they're pretty good, pretty important. So we just rejoined instead of going to game 3 of the first match. Hedge Maze. Could be Nadu, could be Twiddlestorm, could be Living End. They keep a card on top. We're attacking for 3. Penalty reveals a Court of Calling. Looks like we're up against Nadu. Good to win the die roll in this matchup. Will you still play the RCQs and RCs with the new MTG series? Probably, yeah. I mean, I am like a full-time Magic player, so I should probably be playing some more Magic, huh? I'm excited for the series. Okay, it's an interesting pickup. I'm excited for the series. I have not really been playing RCQs lately. Oh, that's just a dub, right? Oh, I guess we could put them to 1. Because they're gonna block the Goblin guy, take 4, and then we grenade them. But putting them to 1 with them having Waterlog Grove in play, can't crack a fetch land, seems pretty good. Series, you mean season? I don't know, I feel like that I would call this a tournament series, right? I mean, it's kind of semantics either way, I would suppose. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't played an RCQ in a while. I didn't play a single one last season, and I don't know what exactly my schedule is gonna look like. But I do get the fire. I'm gonna go play in Vegas. Gonna try to qualify for the PT in Vegas. See what happens. Don't know about what series. The Secret, the Magic Show. Oh, I don't know what it's called. I cannot remember what it's called. But there's a new tournament series, very similar to the old school Grand Prix. That is open tournament. Anyone can play. Top 8 gets Pro Tour qualifications. Okay, so we're up a game against Nadu. I'm gonna bring in these Harsh Mentors. Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring in the bolts against them. This is a very difficult deck to over sideboard with, but I also kind of was feeling like these Goblin Guides suck on the draw. So I play like one bolt over a guide on the draw. Would I want to do anything else? Togo, thank you for the raid. Welcome back. Maybe I'll play one less blast, one more bolt on the draw. Yeah, they said there's going to be a theme for each tournament. I don't really know what what that means still. I don't know if they said what that means. If you beat up on Nadu, I'm buying this deck. Well, I will say a lot of prowess gamers have been saying that the Nadu matchup is really good for them. I think theme is just the PR way of saying different format. I don't think it would mean that. Maybe that's what it means, but wouldn't they just say different format? Like, it's just confusing if they say theme. They said the theme will define the format, so expect a lot of standards. We'll see. I mean, I know the first one's standard, the second one's modern. The second one is in the Netherlands, I believe, which I've never been to. But, I don't know, this could get me to go. We'll see. Well, this is the second... No, CD. Well, maybe. The first of the new like GP series that's modern is
you said
top
ones. 8 gets a Pro Tour invite. All of top 8?
All of top 8. That's how it used to be. So they used the how you get to Pro Tour back in the day was the best way was to top 8 a GP, and there were also like various paper PTQ like structures that changed. Like either it would be like a big open tournament where first place would get a PT invite, or it was kind of similar to like the current system, but a little bit smaller. The camera is like really like I keep moving it and it just like slides around. It's not really feeling very functionable at the moment.
I meant in your chair.
What?
I meant scooching your chair.
Oh. I didn't know she was this chilled out over there. I think I'm leading on the Epicure here. Maybe get in for some more damage. Also, if I draw Flare, I can go Flare, Kuldotha Rebirth, and then Bushwhacker for a ton on turn 3. Although I guess I'm like basically never like sacking Star looking for Harsh Mentor on turn 2, right? You talked about this list weeks ago. Was there a light bulb moment that made it click? Not really. It's just like there's like a ton of cards to test. It was like the cards like didn't make the list are like Unlucky Witness, Ornithopter, Lightning Bolt, Galvanic Blast, Burning Tree Emissary, the other Bushwhacker. There's just like a lot of cards that I ended up having to test, and so it just took a long time. Okay, so I believe I get to draw the card off the star first. So if I find the Flare, I get to copy here. Okay, not quite that lucky. Is the standard format going to be the same in January? I would say there's got to be like at least one new set. Ooh, they got a Dryad Arbor, so they're definitely going to cast Nadu here. Probably cooked. Got game 3 on the play. Play draw seems pretty dang relevant. 2 new sets before January for standard. Wow. There's an Nantuko, so if they hit one more land, they're gonna probably be able to pop off. There's a Haywire Might, which gives them a couple rebuys, and maybe a source of life gain. But now they would have to hit land to Springheart. So, I mean, it's kind of likely we get a turn. If we can draw Flare of Duplication, I guess we're just not going to quite have lethal. We'd have, 10 damage, put them to 4. I guess technically 1 more, maybe. And I don't know if we have, like, a better draw than Flare of Duplication. Let's just see, I guess. Kuldotha Rebirth. Yeah, it seems like we'll just have to go to game 3 here. Okay, I can see what my opponent thinks about the synthesizer. There's just nothing we can hit. Okay, so we're on the play. Now, I think the guides are actually probably pretty good on the play. But maybe I don't have the luxury of really playing that many. Shrapnel Blast the Naughty. They had Sylvan Safekeeper in play. Alright, let's go. Close hand. This hand can deal like 14 damage by turn 3. Very close. I think I'm going to mulligan. Alright, this hand just having a... just having a Harsh Mentor is obviously awesome. So I think we're going to put back the Synthesizer and then get Goblin Guide into Harsh Mentor and then have access to Flare plus Grenade. Reveals a Nadu. Would you ever try to demolish their Shuko? They revealed another Shuko to Nadu there. But I would ever, sure. There are situations. No blocks. So they've got a Bristly Bill. So I think I might as well just wait on the Bauble activation. It basically got them down to 5 right now. Looks like they're going to give me a reasonable attack this turn, too. One kind of fun thing is... okay, so this isn't quite lethal. Okay, I can Gleeful Demolition the Haywire Might if I want to. Do I want to do that? Because the problem is I can't... I can only copy this one time right now. I might like Gleeful Demolition to Shuko. But we could copy a chord for 2. And then get another Harsh Mentor if they like chord for Drake. But they're dead to Bauble. They're dead to any 1-mana goblin. Why can't you copy it twice? So I have to sack the Goblin Guide to cast Goblin Grenade, and then I only have 1 non-token red creature in play. They're dead to Epicure. They did a lot of cards here. You can copy it twice. Well, I don't think so, because I can sack Goblin Gate to cast it, and then I can sack once. So they're also dead... They're also not dead to land. But yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding something. So one nice thing here is my opponent can't sack Haywire Might to, like, gain life, since they would lose 2. They're also going down to 10 if they crack this Heath. So they're also just dead to a lot of cards here, including this one. Sacrifice with sack on the stack. Yeah, there's like, isn't there a card that like talks about that? Okay, so I Goblin Grenade my opponent so they can course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because one problem maybe is that my opponent would be able to. My opponent would be able to maybe chord for Forge Tinder here. So I think I'm gonna right now just leave the Harsh Mentor in play. And then like let's just see if my opponent responds to this. And then maybe we'll end up copying the grenade or something. They may have a Pierce. They might have a Pierce, yeah. Can't they just Haywire after you sack the Harsh Mentor? Well, that wouldn't be enough life for them. That would gain them 2, and they're taking like an additional 5. Alright, yeah. Let's just chill. I'm not sure that this is right, but it's going to be very tough for them to get there, especially because so if they chord for 2 here, I'm gonna Flare of Duplicationing that second the Mentor doesn't make any sense. It would if they were at 1 life and I could get Epicure, but I guess I could also might. So the problem with copying their chord and get another Mentor is they go chord, I sack, copy the chord, get another Mentor, but I sacked this one and I put another Mentor in play, and then they just get Drake. Okay. So they're killing my blood token. Was not expecting them to do that. Seems a little weird. Not complaining. How long has this deck been in works? A long time. Finally, like, in a playable state, I think. Seems a bit snipey. I don't think so. Can they steal the Mentor Stormdrake? They should be able to if they have a cord, but I don't know if they do or if they just didn't bring in the Drake or something. Definitely got them in a tough spot. We've got a good amount of good top decks. Including that one. Is Stormdrake now standard in Nadu? Yeah, it's pretty common as an answer to Harsh Mentor. So I'm not sure what they like really need to respond. What the requirement for responding to this is. Yeah, also go to the mirror, that's true. But if they give me a Drake, I just have a flying I just have a flying attacker. If they were a 1, we would maybe sack and get Epicure here. I guess we would. They're baiting me to attack with 1. I mean, it's not very good bait. Because I just get perfect info. But now I just have a lethal flyer for next turn, and I still have a Harsh Mentor in play. And also, there was a window for them to crack the fetch, and they declined to crack the fetch. That was probably a mistake. Wander with the 14 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Shouldn't they get Nadu and try to William you? Maybe. If they can do that, I guess that could be the plan. But they also, like, already have triggered... It doesn't seem like they have a Nadu that they can cast. They might have a Nadu in their hand, right? I guess you're saying they should have corded for Nadu. Okay, so there's a ring that they can... So they can now crack their fetch. But, okay, now they can't crack their fetch because they tapped the ring. So if they crack this, they're dead. If they can't somehow combo kill me. Yeah, we know they have a Nadu in their hand. But... So their hand is Nadu... Mystery card. So I mean, if it's Cord plus Shuko, I guess they could get there. And they can try to briskly build their way out of the situation too, or like bushy build into Shuko if they don't already have the Shuko in the hand. I think they would also have could chain some build triggers together. Seems like they might have missequenced. They cracked the fetch. Yeah, they have a ring protection here, but this does mean that they're dead. They are dead to this ring trigger next turn. But I think that they realize that they have to go for it this turn, because otherwise they're just not going to get through the Harsh Mentor. They reveal an Endurance to the bill, so their hand is Nadu Endurance Mystery card. Most of the time, this mystery card is going to mean we're going to win this game, I think. Haywire Might keeps them alive. Well, if they Haywire Might, they lose 2 and gain 2, so I don't think that that's true. Easy. So, definitely a complicated spot. So I think I'm probably supposed to Rebirth on turn 1. Just more damage on turn 2. Does the ring not protect them for the Mentor trigger on Might? Oh, you meant Might this turn. Sure. But I don't think they had the mana to play Might and activate it, right? They only had 1 mana available. Can't they cord for a fortune in response to all Mentor triggers? I mean, if they have a cord, they already used 2. But it's on the roll to 6. Yeah, just more damage to do it this way. Although maybe a little bit worse if we draw Flare. I might want to Flare the Rebirth. They can't choose not to steal if you have creatures. Oh, right. Okay, then yeah, I guess that was a good line. To Flare the cord, get Epicure, put them to 1. They won't be able to crack the fetch even if they ring. Kind of hard to play around the ring, maybe, but... Or kind of hard to, like, envision that's the way the game's going, but, you know, that is kind of like what high-level play looks like. Good thought, chat. Okay, so I guess... We'll just play this. Hope to hit a 1-drop. Alright, that's a 1-drop. Only have 4 zeros to hit. Or 3 zeros to hit. All right, I guess that works out. Take that. This definitely might be a Den of the Bugbear kind of game. All right, Den of the Bugbear mana acquired. You know, Goblin Guy kind of got a buff with all these MDFCs in the format. Never mind. I think we've gotten like 5 Goblin Guide triggers. I think they've gotten 3 lands. Guess that's not that weird. Do you ever propose cards designed to WotC? No, I have never texted WotC proposing card designs, nor do I have that kind of communication with WotC. I haven't really had any communication with them since my last consulting thing, I guess, or like the last time they asked me to consult, which was like 2 years ago. I was thinking instant blue, draw 2, 1 back in the hand top would be too strong or too nerfed. I mean, I think Brain Surge is your nerfed Brainstorm. That is your fixed Brainstorm. Congratulations. All right. Well, I would love to kick that, but we'll take a 1/1 for 1. Lord of the Rings Consulting was 2 years ago. I think Lord of the Rings Consulting was more than 2 years ago at this point. The Lord of the Rings and Assassin's Creed was pretty close together. And then I said no to MH3. They haven't asked me since. I'm trying to... It was like the Lord of the Rings Consulting was like... It was a few months after MH2 came out. And I was like writing Channel Fireball articles too. And I was streaming like 6 hours a day. My days were so like, it was just magic. I would wake up, I'd stream for like 6 hours. I would write 2 Channel Fireball articles a week and do a video. And then I would spend my nights just like poring over the file and consulting too. And then I would just go to sleep. I would do nothing besides magic during that period. Like just from wake up to go to sleep. Like not like maybe like a 10 to 20 minutes of break throughout the whole day for like a full month. I said no to MH3 because they wanted me to go to Seattle for 6 weeks, and that was just like too much of a break from the stream. All right, it seems like our draw has lined up well against them there. Probably not going to sideboard very much. I don't know how... I guess Bolt for Tomio probably is pretty important, since Tomio's +1 is like kind of a nightmare for us. I mean, I do really like Shrapnel Blast. I wonder if that could be... This probably should be a trim. Probably trim a Bushwhacker too. Maybe don't play 4 bolts. The Goblin Guide also... Maybe the Goblin Guide is the weak link. It's just like kind of the only card in our deck that like lines up kind of poorly against their lightning bolts and their discharges. So maybe I just want to actually cut the Goblin Guides for the bolts. I do think those Tomios are a pretty big problem. Any thoughts to Ocelot in a similar list due to token copying? I mean, yeah, Ocelot plus in like a Gleeful Rebirth shell. It could go pretty hard. Could go pretty hard. And then also Guided Souls is good with this stuff too, so yeah, it could be something to explore. Do I miss writing, making videos for CFB? No. It was like a lot of work that was like I feel like it was definitely the hardest part of the week was like the writing and the videos, and it was like the least received because people just don't really read articles like they used to, I think, or at least it didn't feel like people read my articles to the degree that like they engaged with my video content, and that's fine. You know, I'm more of a Twitch person than a writer anyways, but I put a lot of effort in that stuff, and it just feel like people, you know, cared a lot more about the video content, and was not really as fulfilling as I would have wanted it to be. I think I'm going to crack the Bauble. I know we have the Shrapnel Blast and the Flare. Let's try to play this a little bit slower. We'd also play out the Bushwhacker and have a Flare thing. We'll just play this a bit slower. It's also... I was just like really overextended in that time period too, kind of simply put. I had bit enough, I think a bit too much. More than I could chew. How's Ocelot and Urza Saga not a deck? Wrath the Skies is how. Yeah, I have a lot of articles I'm proud of. You know, you can still read them on there. Especially like my brewing, like my brewing guides or like my thoughts on like how I approach brewing. I'm pretty proud of those, but I think it's good to be moved on. We really need this to resolve. Nice. All right, happy enough to just bolt them here. So next turn we can. Do we just Shrapnel Blast? Not sure. I can maybe play Bushwhacker and then like set up to Shrapnel Blast and Flare. Then that's 13 damage. I think maybe I'll be able to like Shrapnel Blast them end of turn here and then try to flare the Goblin Grenade instead of flaring the Shrapnel Blast. Is Wrath the Skies the best board wipe of all time? Maybe. I think you can make a pretty good case for it. Well, one has not done anything besides cast a Preordain in this game. Let's start off with a Gleeful Demolition. I want to target the Synthesizer because I want to be able to like instant speed Shrapnel Blast a little bit more effectively if possible. Okay, nice. So I'm going to kind of expect my opponent to counter this and then untap and Pyroclasm. We're starting to trade some resources. Don't you need 2 creatures to flare the grenade? Yeah, but we're up against wizards. We just have a lot of time. I'll be drawing cards with the star and stuff, be churning through the deck. It's not this Barbarian Ring, which is pretty relevant. Also, I don't know how my opponent just doesn't have a counterspell here. Mailing Ognium with the 17 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. But it seems like we're not even going to get Pyroclasmed anymore. Glad to cut these Goblin Guides against the discharges. They have a Flame of Venor. Yeah, you can sack one of these tokens to Goblin Grenade if that's maybe what we're missing here. So if I can find another artifact, we have a pretty good chance of winning. Okay. So I can go Bushwhacker, Goblin Grenade, Flare plus Bolt, and that's lethal. Let's go for it. They're tapped out. Could have a Force of Negation. Oh my gosh. I sacked the wrong goblin. Damn it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that one. Oopsie doopsie. There's the Pyroclasm. Okay, looks like they're tapping out again, thankfully. A non-token red creature would be a good top deck. Alright. Oh, sorry. And I also could have just hardcast the Flare on this. Blundering left and right. Seems like they have Flare. They didn't want to Flare, sacking the Murktide. Okay. Got there. Could have played a lot better. Alright. Not exactly my usual archetype. Okay, so this hand we can go turn 1 Demo or Bauble, and then if we find a non-token red creature, we can Flare Goblin Grenade. Let's keep. Well, might lose to a turn 2 Scion. Don't have a great plan for that. There's our non-token red creature. We technically put our opponent to 5 right now. Assuming I remember to sack the right thing. Which might be the correct line, although it's kind of pretty bad against Stubborn Denial, I'll say. There's a Leyline Binding on the top of their library. Okay. Never mind. You know, if they go Leyline into Bolt Scion, it'd be pretty bad for us. Seeing the name of the next card. Okay, I'll try Frieza. Kavu's not a Cyanodraco. Voldaren Epicure! Okay, so this seems like a pretty easy turn. We're going to flare the Goblin Grenade and then have a lethal Shrapnel Blast available for next turn. Should I be attacking? So should I trade a token here to get them down to 2 effectively? I guess that would stop another shock land. That would still have a Goblin in play for a top deck Goblin Grenade. Yeah, it could have been good to just flare the bolt. But I think with Blast and Grenade in hand, it's better to do this. This also beats Flage. Select the block 1. Yeah, sorcery. Still wish they just made Flare deal 4 to the face. I think this is a lot more interesting. I don't know. This could be 5 to the face, too. How do I feel about Improvised Club? That one doesn't target players, does it? Oh, it does. I mean, Blast is 5. I feel like I would play the 4th Blast over it. I understand this one is a bit easier to cast, but I think the upside is just like a little too much, I would think. But maybe that one could be good. All right, they got 1 card in their hand. I guess they could have a flare because all of their scions are all colors. But it's like if we're trying to copy stuff with flare, like copying a 5 is like it's 2 extra damage, which is 10% of the life total, compared to copying a 4 damage spell. It's like it is like a lot less. Okay, up a game against Domain Zoo, which is probably not a very good matchup, but this is certainly a deck that can kind of cheese anything. I saw a tweet of someone who's 18-2 with their Phoenix Holiness. Yeah, I mean, I think that deck got a little overshadowed by the Woodlands. But yeah, I think that deck is really good. I would recommend Soulless Jailer in the sideboard over the Lizards that I had. That's kind of like the big thing. I was thinking about just like playing in a league with that today if this deck or the backup deck doesn't go that well. I might bring in the Bolts just because, again, I think my philosophy is going to be somewhat the same as last time. Where the Goblin guys are just not that good against the Bolt deck on the draw, but I guess we are kind of low on red creatures for Flare. I guess we can do that against like blue-red Wizards. We'll just have time to like set up Flare eventually, and we'll also like we could hardcast Flare in that matchup. But I think probably here we need to keep in the Goblin Guides. Jailer's good against Goryo, Storm, and Living End, so just like it covers a pretty wide variety of matchups. But I think it's the best one. I think it's the best one for that deck too. Don't we need something in the board that can blow up a Chalcedon one, or just Eldrazi Fold? Yeah, maybe we should have that. We are very weak to it. We are very weak to it. Yeah, probably should have Smash or Smithereens on the board. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did mean to have guides. Oh, sorry about that. I did mean to redo the swap. Toss the Bone Crusher on the side for ring matchups. Bone Crusher is too high on the mana curve, I think. I don't think we can afford to play a card with that's that expensive. And we're also like probably pretty good against ring decks with how like low to the ground our burn is. Needle Plague with the 7 months. Thank you, welcome back. Appreciate you. I'm gonna keep this on the draw. Pretty borderline. That is the worst top deck. Ingot Chewer is my vote for Child's Hate. I mean, Smash or Smithereens being copyable and dealing damage to your opponent seems like it's got to be the best option. Okay, well, good news is we can't beat that anyways. Just an actual concession. Maybe if we're very lucky, we could beat it on the play occasionally. Also, maybe I should have stuck it out so it didn't seem like I could never beat it. It's okay, that won't happen. Game 3. The Mono Blue Elder list really interested me when I'm playing a bit ago, but I still recommend it. I liked the version without Portent more than the version with Portent, but I've been working on a Simic build of the Portent deck that I haven't been like that excited to try. Does Demolition only destroys Scion if they don't have a Leyline? Okay, so let's keep. Uh-oh. Could you play a version of this with new Magda? Too high on the curve, I think. You might notice that that might be a recurring answer to those questions. Yeah, I think with Portent you want to have a bit more acceleration. So you either want to be Simic and have some ramp, or you want to be playing Tron lands. That's my current impression. Chewer to Sec to Flare is real. Okay, Chewer second to Flare is something, sure. Yeah, so I guess we should be playing Smashes over the Wildfires. Could have a binding and binding the blood token here. Wouldn't be that big a deal. But I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I take it back. You know, if they have Leyline into Scion, we can be cooked. I mean, they're gonna have Kavu at the very least because we saw it off the Bauble, which would also be pretty bad for us. Maybe they come to one lander. Is there no space for fast lands in the Black Red Hollow Phoenix list? I don't think so. I think you just really want to play a lot of fetches because you're an Ox of Agonis deck. Yeah, I don't think I would play. Alright, so we want to use Demolition first because Rebirth is a bit better to Flare. Oh, can't cast that Shrapnel Blast. Might get to cast Sundering Eruption. I guess I might target my own thing, so Barbarian Ring is more online. Maybe I'll target the Arena of Glory. We beat Nadu and then we beat Blue-Red Wizards today. If my opponent didn't have that binding, we're in so much better shape. Surprised they still have these in post-board. Surprised that they are even playing this in the first place over Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls, but what are you going to do? Not super good, but I like killing the Arena of Glory, so they don't get to just like present lethal kind of easy on the backswing. Could be better to have played this and activate Din of the Bugbear. We also get to keep an extra token for next turn. I think we're mostly just drawing the Bushwhacker, and that might not even be good enough if they just have anything, so tough game. I guess would Goblin Grenade plus Barbarian Ring do it? So that'd be 7 plus 7. Okay, that would be Xaxes. Have I seen Contested Warzone? I know of Contested Warzone. I would not really play it. It's like you can't really afford to play colorless lands in the deck, in my opinion. But I am familiar. I'd play like the Red Castle instead, maybe, but I think Barbarian Ring, the Falter effects are better. They will exile or dig for Scion. I guess, yeah. Or Flames. Oh, that was lethal. That was a lethal top deck. Oh, only if they did nothing that turn, which was kind of a tall order. Okay, 2-1. Not a deck that mulligans to 5 very well, but we find ourselves here mulliganing to 5. So we'll probably put back a Gleeful Demolition. Well, like most multipliers would be much better on 6 if I could keep the Goblin Grenade. I guess I'll keep the Demolition because Rebirth is a bit better overall, so I have like the option to top deck it later. Well, I guess I'm also just not shuffling. Besage you Ancient Stirrings after they molt 6. Is this Eldrazi? Is this just Tron? We'll find out. Might cast this one on a Tron land this game. So I'm picking up a Smash to Smithereens too. No, I'm okay. It was a really minor accident. I got rear-ended again for the second time this year, like yesterday, by a teenager who was like shaking and crying. But she was fine. She was just like never been in an accident before. I'm pretty sure she was just like texting and driving. But I woke up feeling okay, and it'll probably be like about $1,000 in damages on the car we just got from the last time we got rear-ended. But most importantly, everybody's okay. Yeah, it's the second time it's been a Nissan Altima that's rear-ended me. So it's probably through the breach. Tech for real bad tech. We'll see how real bad it is. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm at 15. Dang it. Stupid MDFCs. Okay, down a game against Through the Breach. Gonna bring in the Wildfires. Probably just want to be as aggressive as possible. Let's run it back. Okay, here's a deck tech. I think you should play less than 4 Kappa Cannoneers. You are not... It doesn't look like this card is castable till like turn 4. At the... Like, ambitiously turn 4, this is a Kappa Cannoneer deck. Maybe occasionally turn 3. Which probably means like you just don't want to play 4 copies if it's like a mid to late game kind of card. Although I don't know, maybe it's like in these decks it's kind of like a weird tension where like powering out a Kappa Cannoneer is a good way to beat Wrath the Skies, but the stuff that lets you do that is not a good way to beat Wrath the Skies. So I'm not sure if there's a good way to like marry that concept or whatever. Wintermoon looks pretty cool here. I've been really wanting to register Wintermoon and just kind of see how it goes. I've been like staring at this like Lynx deck that plays like 4 Arena of Glory, all basic mountains, and then also Wintermoon, but I'm just not really sure about it. But yeah, this deck just can't play this that fast, so I don't think you should be playing it. Uro would be awesome in this deck. It would be awesome if you could afford to main deck Force of Negation, and you're kind of there. Like this plus the Force of Negations would give you enough slot. You'd lose the Gigantha. But main deck Force of Negation would give you a lot of game against Wrath the Skies. Maybe that's playing a little too scared. Okay, so they put in Eldrazi Temple turn 1. Let's just go ahead and attack and see if they like Dismember. I think I'll go Synthesizer into Epicure. They reveal an Allah's Dust. Not too scared of that one. You gotta have faith that your synthesizers will be nice to you also. So next turn, we can put them down to 2. It's pretty close to 0. Oh, never mind. So they'll take the grenade, I would guess. Sorry, the blast. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can also just kind of try to ignore Wrath the Skies. If it gets you, it gets you. But it looks like a pretty like well constructed deck overall, I'll say. Oh, one good top deck deserves another. Oh no, I drew the flare and I forgot to copy it, although I guess now I could copy... Oh, now I get to copy the rebirth instead of... or the grenade. Probably will be better to copy rebirth, right? Because I just don't have lethal in play next turn if I copy the grenade. Almost a deck tech punt, but now we didn't. Now we do technically have lethal next turn. Naro 13. Shout out T Loki. I don't know who T Loki is, but shout out. Say Mycospawn? Mycospawn block Goblin Guide puts them to one life point. Does Breach board out the combo against counterspell decks? I don't think so. I think they're just kind of good against counterspell decks in general. Play like because they will oftentimes just get to the point where they're hardcasting Ulamog. So they grabbed another temple, I think, with the intention to all is dust me next turn. Holy guacamole. That's a lot of damage. Don't even need the Goblin Grenade. But they know about the grenade from this year too, so they know that they are now super duper dead. When you copy the grenade, you just second guess second goblin. No, so when you copy Shrapnel Blast, Goblin Grenade, Kuldotha Rebirth, you don't. But Gleeful Demolition does require you target a second artifact because it's not a sack effect. I'm gonna play Smashes on the sideboard over the Wildfires. What's been my favorite Bloomburrow card? Cash Grab. So Cash Grab is like awesome because it finally enabled like my pet deck to be really competitive or competitive enough. We'll see how it lands post ban. But it's not like the most like fun card to cast. Probably the Cruel Claw was the most fun card to cast for me. Yeah, I mean, 3 goblins, 3 Goblin Grenades. What's not to like about that? In terms of Wintermoon, IDK, nobody's really playing it, expecting it. I've been loving it. Yeah, I think there's a good chance it's good. I keep trying to build like Arena of Glory. I said this, but Arena of Glory links with like 18 basic mountains, 4 Arena of Glories to haste your links, and then you can also play Wintermoon in that shell. And then you're kind of like a Hayashi style red deck. Is playing Phoenix still very delusional? If you're talking about Arc like Phoenix, you might have missed Monday's stream, but we were 7-3 with Phoenix, and we played Tomio in the deck, and Tomio was really, really good. Definitely a card. I like the Phoenix build, and if you're talking about Detectives Phoenix, we've been doing well with that one too in Hollow 1. I'm gonna go to Vegas for Cube. I'm going to Vegas for the limited PT Cube mostly, and we'll see what I get up to beyond that, I guess. How much of a necessity is the Goblin Guide? I would want to try DRC in that slot. Not sure the synergy loss is too much. DRC is kind of an interesting option. I didn't test DRC. I tested Unlucky Witness in that slot for a while. Yeah, I tested Unlucky Witness in that slot for a little while. DRC could be good. Need a density of goblins. Well, we already have a lot of goblins. We have 12 goblin cards basically. And DRC would also like churn through the deck for you to draw more goblins too. Yeah, I think Blast Runner is worse than Goblin Guide, but I could be wrong. I might be down to just try a league with DRC over Goblin Guide. I mean, Goblin Guide is pretty good too. It's like, it is more aggressive, but you've got to be really good at getting Delirium, and the tendency that DRC provides is kind of alluring. You're really good at triggering it. So I don't know. Let's again, I spent a long time on this archetype, but there's just so many directions to go that I'm interested in kind of exploring just all the directions. And I love Dragon Rage's Channeler. Okay, on the draw gets Scales is kind of an interesting place to be. The Gleeful Demolitions kind of serve double purpose here too. I think the deck got more budget with Channelers, right? Over Goblin Guides. Oh, I already have 4 Channelers from the backup deck. Nice. Channeler. It's the first deck I've heard of Prometheus like to see Spike playing it. Yeah, do you have any insights on the archetype? Because it took me a long time to like got like the bolts in the main deck and got the unlucky witnesses. So they have a regen available, which is not ideal. So I guess I'm just setting up for next turn. Some kind of like obscure poor matchups this league, playing against Domain Zoo and Scales. But hopefully we can just draw another one of these and then hit him for a ton next turn. I've been thinking about playing Scales with like 3 Phyrexian Towers and 4 Rings in the main, but I don't think really anybody wants to see the big innovation is play the Ring more often so you can be better against Wrath the Skies. But looks like my opponents may be doing that. Although it does seem like we're going to get Inkmoth maybe. So this would be... Yeah, so that's a lethal Inkmoth Nexus. Do I just somehow have lethal here? So they're going to block 2 things, and then they're going to take 5, like 12, basically. So I guess what I should do is Synthesizer to have another artifact in play, and then hold up the Shrapnel Blast, where I'll be able to Shrapnel Blast the Inkmoth Nexus defensively to not die, or Shrapnel Blast them and set up for a possible win. Just slap the Ring in every deck. It's not format warping at all. Well, it doesn't go in every deck, but I do think it does make a lot of sense in specifically Scales. Where it's like, it's good in Scales, you can sack it to Ravager, and you have a double land to like ramp it out now that you didn't really get good access to before. Opponent does have lethal, Folding Jarsack, Starkbound. Yeah, but it now seems like we're going to be a little too cooked with the Zabaz out there. Oh, sorry. Also, I forgot the Zabaz counters. Yeah, just now the blast doesn't even get there. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Harsh Mentors, which are pretty good against them. Bolt's not super good against them. It's like okay. I mean, I think the Goblin Guides are just awful. So another spot for Channeler. I'll just play 1 bolt. Click submit. Did I try Stoke the Flames? So one big problem I had with this deck for a long time was I was playing too much burn. So I was playing at one point 4 bolt, 4 Goblin Grenade, 4 Shrapnel Blast, in addition to 4 Flare. But the problem is that's just too many instants and sorceries, and you need the permanents in play to sack to them. So I ended up pulling back and just playing 7 blasts and the flares to copy them. And I feel pretty good about that. Never actually tested it. My version of the Tarkus command and Pyrosurfer. Doubling a Tarkus' command. Strong. Yeah, Pyrosurfer's kind of high on the curve, but yeah, you could go bigger. Would 1 Wildfire for Nexus be better than the Bolt? Probably not on the play. Maybe you could do that on the draw. I think on the play you're supposed to try to run them over. We also have the Sundering Eruptions that can theoretically kill a Nexus, but it's a bit more expensive. If you had drawn land on that turn, you would have been able to survive just by killing a Moth with the Falter effect. Yeah. If we had drawn a land, we could have killed the Nexus, then unblockable attacked. That would have been pretty good. Has Flare double Eruption come up as being relevant? No. You're mostly playing this as the Falter effect instead of like the Wildfire stuff, but it could come up if you play against Tron. It's like a nice little thing. I agree that it would be very cool if it came up. There's a Harsh Mentor. When the Hardened Scales Discord unbans me and drops the lawsuit, then I'll be back. Weck with the 9 months and going back. So here we get to go Epicure into Mentor into Demo Bushwhacker without even needing to draw any other cards. If I played any of the Flare Devastating Summons builds you were talking about a bit ago. No, I was trying to play Devastating Summons in this deck, and it was just like pretty awkward when I just like basically rarely want to draw more than 2 lands. So I think we still could maybe if we're playing a bit of a bigger build. Yes, please register to vote. Me and Esther actually became volunteer deputy registrars to help our friends and family get registered. It was very funny at the like orientation or training or whatever for that. There was this ancient lady at the front of the crowd saying, "One thing I think we really need to know is where the early voting locations are in all neighborhoods." It's just, it's just so fun. Maybe you had to be there, but it was very funny in the moment. We're Sundering Eruption this turn. I think I want to save it for next turn for the Falter. Just kind of like Gleeful Demo, Bushwhacker, then close my eyes. And then leave back the Harsh Mentor to either block the Patchwork or just have the effect be in play. Lawsuit. Oh, sorry, I can't talk about the ongoing lawsuit with the Hardened Scales Discord. Welcome with the 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. We don't do paid deck decks, Jesse. Thank you for asking, though. Occasionally, I'll just look at list for fun if you got a good pitch or whatever. Okay, so if there's a boss, this is 3 counters, which is not lethal, so I think we just take the hit. Should I Sundering Eruption the Saga? Seems like I should. I need to be careful about not dying to the Zabaz flying, I suppose. Could this deck run Gypso Caverns? You can't really get, the problem is, oh dude, Tommy, safekeeping. I always shit talk it so much, it always blows me out. You can't afford a colorless land is the problem. Okay, so 2-0 into 2-3. Not the best. A couple like Scales and Domain Zoo are probably 2 matchups you can just hope to not run into. It is a good sign that we beat Nadu, we beat Wizards. We're going to run it back with Channelers over Goblin Guides, Smashes over the Wildfires, just to see what happens. Then I've got a backup deck, too.